Right, hi everybody. Right, I'm going to keep these posts coming as I model on this thing. So they'll probably get one every day for the next few days because I'm at home at the moment. So if you want to watch them, watch them. If you don't. I'm not expecting you all to watch every single one. Do you know what I mean? People get enough stuff coming to the feed. But what I was going to do today, I'm not really doing much of these kind of tutorial things very often on this kind of stuff. But I was going to basically talk you through how I put a texture onto the finished plastic model when it's built up and how I fill it and how I go in. And there's a lot of videos about this sort of way of doing stuff. I just thought I'd share mine like with you. So it's just one of those. I just thought I'd share the process. So if you want to watch it, watch it. If you don't. But this is how I go about prepping anyway. So give me 2 seconds and I'll zoom the camera in a bit closer so you can actually see what I'm doing. 2 seconds. Right. Hello again, folks. Right, this is all the stuff. I'll turn my fan off. And this is all the stuff I use to texture the bodywork. I mean, I used to stuck with a Dremel and put a lot of scratching and scuffing in, and then I used to just hit it with the green putty. I love this stuff. I mean, it's fucking toxic as hell. Do you know what I mean? And you have to wear a mask with it when you're using it because it is pretty bad for you. But it does the job nice. I mean, you can see on that piece there. Sorry, bear with me. I've filled the basic seam lines on it with the green putty, and it's really nice to sand down and to use and stuff. So it's pretty easy to work with, and you can melt it with the glue. That's what I used to do with basically. I used to use the Plastic Magic glue, which I love. I think it's a really good product for doing scale kits, and it'll melt the Squadron green stuff into like a paste, so you can thin it down with it. You can also use acetone, just standard acetone, which you can get from anywhere, which thins it down and stuff like that. I use just a normal sculpting tool to apply that. But what I always do with these kind of things, I'll get a level of, fill it up with the Squadron. I'll hit it, then I'll spray it, so you can still see the lines on these when you spray them. So basically what I'll do after I've sprayed it and I can still see the ridge lines, I'll just get a bit more of this stuff. Stick my mask on because it is a bit stinky. And like now I've kind of hit it up a little bit and I can actually see the mould lines a bit more. I mean, you shouldn't sniff this stuff, but I absolutely love the smell of all this kind of shit. I know it's really bad for me as well, but you're not going to hear me with a mask on. So here we go. I've had this one. It's chewed quite a bit, so she's a bit stubborn to get out. Oh, just get my. You kind of have to break the surface of it again. I mean, the thing with this stuff as well is when it does start to go off, if you get it out onto a little palette or a little tile, you can actually melt the stuff again. Get like a little bit out onto there, I will. Because I've primed it now, I can see where my levels. I mean, even on this piece here, I've added a bit of putty, which I'll talk about in a second, to try and build the levels up a little bit. But my levels are still slightly off, so some areas of this I want to hit it again with the green stuff. And now you can work over the top of each other because it's all kind of similar stuff. I just want to try and get rid of as much. It's a bit dry to put on this one, is it? As much of the high points in the mould line as I can. I mean, you guys that make the cars and do the scale modelling, you're going to be well aware of a lot of this stuff. Do you know what I mean? I just thought I would share what I do for like completeness as I'm going through this project. And you scratch it in. Just try and get your levels all high to the same level. I mean, you see, this is pretty easy to work with. It's nothing like when you've got a nice paint job on something and you've got a big bloody seam line down it. Just pop my mask on a second. As you can see, I'll just go all the way down the wobble again. A little bit more on there. And you just slowly but surely, it'll just fill it up. I mean, not all of this area needs more on it because it's already had one coat of it. I mean, it seems like a bit of a long and arduous process, but I think it's like most of us are in this hobby. You want to get your model to look the best you can. Just keep rubbing it in there. And on the other side, got a little bit there, and a little bit there. Let's get a bit more in. It's just nice to. I mean, I'm quite finicky with something, so I just like to get them looking sweet. I mean, there's a lot of other putties on the market you can use for filling and stuff. I just I came across Squadron green, to be fair, from reading Games Workshop's, one of Games Workshop's master guides to modelling or painting, I do believe, and I bought a set of that and I've kind of always used it. I mean, I like to give these kind of things like the texture that you would have on a tank, like a cast metal. And I know you guys that do the cars and stuff, the last thing you want is to have all bumps in your metal work, but us guys are more into doing sort of the military style vehicles. Divots and holes in your vehicle is where it's at. It gives you an example of how I would get that filled up. What I tend to do now, so I mean it's pretty dry now, it's quite dry. I'll just get one of my filing sticks. Now this is the bit where you definitely want your mask on. Just give it a little buff up across it. It's all over. I mean, this is a labour of love. Not everybody's going to want to do this. Do you know what I mean? But me being the kind of person I am, this is what I like. Now I'm kind of thinking, I'll just dust this off a sec. I'm kind of thinking that is going to give me my levels now, which I'm be more happy with. But what I'm going to do as well is I'm going to use some of these products on it, Mr. Surfacer. Now there's lots of gradients. There's 3 gradients, which is a fine, there's a heavy grain, and there's a medium, and there's also like a dissolvable putty, which I use once in a while, but I don't use as much as the Mr. Surfacer. I mean, at the moment I kind of use all 3 of the different surfaces. You have to mix it with acetone. You can thin it with a glue like you can the Squadron green. You can thin it with acetone, or if you prefer you can get the Mr. Colour thinners as well, which I got. They're Japanese product, I think, so they're kind of stuff I've collected because I like to use them as hobby paints. I mean, in the UK they're not that easy to get hold of, but other places I should imagine they are. Like, I can imagine stateside you'd probably get them, and Asia you can get them a lot easier. And I've got a little tub of acetone here, and I've got my brushes. Now, if you're going to use whatever brushes you use, it's going to fucking destroy. Do you know what I mean? He's going to absolutely kill them. So don't be using your Winsor and Newtons and your Kalinsky sables, because there's just no point. It's going to absolutely destroy the bloody things. Now this stuff dries real quick. Same again, it's pretty heavy duty, so you don't really want to be getting it all over you. So all you really do with this is you paint the bloody stuff on, dab it on. And I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with these products, like, and stuff. And this is just stuff I've gained a preference for. As you see, you just dab it all over. As it starts to dry, you start to give it the sort of texture that you want, of like a casted steel, what they would have had in Second World War tanks. I mean, the other good thing about this product as well is that slowly but surely, if you keep doing individual layers of it, you just get rid of those harsh seam lines that sometimes, like, no matter how much you filler and sand just seem to keep popping back. By adding this texture to them, it does give you a little bit more leeway of covering things up. Because I like the rough cast metal texture for things like this. And you see it goes on over paint. I mean, I've primed it so I could see the paint marks. And it does smell nice too. If you like this kind of thing. Tell them a child of the 70s, 80s. Solvent abuse in all shapes and forms. Is you just keep working it in. And what you can do, since you've got plenty on, you keep just bashing it in with a brush. As you can see, there's no real kind of difficulty in using it. And if you're into your tanks and stuff and armour, this is perfect. It just saves a lot of time, like, and melting the plastic and chipping the plastic. You can just add different layers of this into it. I mean, I'll hit the whole model with this. The legs, everything that's going to have a cast element to it, I will hit it up with this. I'm going to have to do a little bit of tidying up after, but in general it's a really nice way of getting your tank textured, or your armour, or walker, like this is what I'm doing. So I like things to look smooth. Do you know what I mean? No seam lines from the build. It's good for doing rust as well, like a rust texture on stuff. I've got exhaust bits and just picking it down. The more you get on the brush and the more ragged your brush gets, the more of a texture you start to apply into it, like. And then you do it as much as you want. And I'll shut that on there a second. I mean, it's a relatively cheap product for the time it says. £5.50. I got these for it to show. I mean, you're going to need to clean your brush with acetone. And the thing with this as well, if you get a bit of acetone on your brush and you've made a little area you want cleaning, you just go in there, clean it up with a bit of acetone on your brush. And there we go, and that's how I'll apply a texture to a model. So anyway, I know you've probably seen people do that before and such and such. Well, I just thought I'd share what I do. So hope you found that useful if you didn't know how to do those kind of things. But I'll speak to you in the next post when I've got done the whole process through the whole kit on the areas that need it doing to. As you can see, it's all in sub-assembly still, but I'm getting closer to getting it built now. Got the legs done and stuff. It's all need textures. You can see I've textured a bit of them there. I've got a fill of all those in and various bits and pieces. But that is the process I follow. So anyway, keep safe, peeps, and I'll speak to you soon. Laters.
Ha 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 ha!